Hello, everyone. Melanie here with CGL Recruiting. Are you in a job that you absolutely hate? Did you take a job thinking it was going to be the most wonderful job and be a great step in your career, and it turned out to be something different? Or have you been offered another job and have they told you you have to start immediately if you want the job? These all beg the questions of, can I quit? Can I quit without notice? Now, if you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, please take a minute and do that now. Don't forget, ring that bell for notifications, and it will let you know as we release other videos and tell you about our live events, where we will answer live for you any questions you have about your job search and your career. Okay, so can you quit without giving notice? Well, we're going to talk more specifically in the US for the moment. In the US, there are a great number of individuals that just lost their jobs by COVID and then are starting to get new jobs. And I'm getting questions from a lot of them saying, oh my gosh, I took this new job. I thought it was going to be this. It's ending up not being that, and I want to quit. And I'm ready. I'm just done. I don't even want to give what we would normally in the US do, give 2 weeks notice. Now, do you have to give that 2 weeks notice? Can people tell if you didn't give 2 weeks notice? That's what we'll dig further into. The first question is, can you just quit a job without telling them I'm giving you notice? The answer is yes. Now, the only caveat I will give to this is there are some individuals that are actually held to a contract. If you are held to a contract, you'll know it because you've signed an absolute contract that has said you're going to be doing this date to this date. And usually even those contracts do have some sort of exit clause. So if you signed a contract, make sure that you go back through and read it. But for the vast majority of individuals, you have not signed a contract. And so therefore, you are at will and can quit at any point in time that you want to. Now, if you do quit, will it have repercussions on you if you don't give 2 weeks notice? Well, it's not actually very easy for companies to know if you gave 2 weeks notice or not. What they do, there's no magic system where that is recorded in, where everybody can say, oh, did they give 2 weeks notice or not? Well, let me type it in, or let me go to this background check company and see. The only way that they get that data is by actually picking up the phone or doing an email correspondence saying the specific question, did this individual give 2 weeks notice? Now, a lot of companies are very, very wary of being sued nowadays, so they don't do that, right? They don't want to give any background or any information about, so they just kind of ignore them, right? Right or wrong, I'm not making any judgments on that. I'm just saying that's what happens a lot. But for them to actually go in and say this person did not give 2 weeks notice is hard, because if, let's say, you're dealing with a company with 10,000 people, the people that are actually doing those background check verifications are usually in the corporate office. It is not people who actually went through and were involved in your turning in your notice. So the only way they can find out that data, because there's usually not a field in the HRIS systems, or it's not one that's filled out very often, is to go and talk with somebody who knows you and knows the circumstances of your resignation. So that makes the question, should you give 2 weeks notice? Well, it's a small world. It's a very small world. And if you don't give 2 weeks notice, you're leaving with a bad taste, right? You're leaving them in the lurch. They have had no chance to recruit somebody else. And so it is making it difficult for that company. And they're going to remember it. And you never know where those people who worked there might be working somewhere else. So if you can give 2 weeks notice, I always recommend that you do give 2 weeks notice. I have some people sometimes say, oh, I need to give 4 weeks, need to give 5 weeks. No, companies are not going to wait for you to give 4 and 5 weeks notice most times, unless you are something very specific and a hard to find position. Most times 2 weeks notice is the norm. But if you're in a bad situation and you feel like you just need to quit because it's affecting you personally, it's affecting, your state of mind, you're being treated inappropriately, you are not required in most cases to give any kind of notice or 2 weeks notice. Now, if you think you're one of those people that does have some kind of contract or other arrangement or agreement, go back, read that contract, and you may need to even consult an attorney in order to make sure you're not violating the terms of your contract. But if you didn't sign anything, the reality is you actually do not have to give 2 weeks notice. All right, everybody, if you have questions on this, and I'm sure some of my HR buddies are going to say, what, Melanie, don't tell people not to give 2 weeks notice. I'm not doing that. You should give 2 weeks notice if you can, but some people can't. But if you have any questions or comments on this, put them down below and let's talk about it. I look forward to seeing all of the comments come in. All right, as always, if you have any questions, put them below. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.